I don't know who's here. It says there's someone here. Hello, hello, hello. Unless it's just me, I don't know. Are you gonna start? I don't know if you started yet. I think it started. Okay, it has. All right, now it's starting to follow. Okie dokie, okie dokie. Hello, you beautiful people. Whoever enters in. That's if anybody's here. I need to get back to work on this. See, where did I leave off last time? I was working on this bush. Hello, Spins. It's not that late. It's only 8 p.m. But I have been staying up late working on my other projects. Actually, since you're here, I can show you what I've been working on. So then I guess whoever else watches this will also get a little bonus, but this is what I've been working on. Make sure it's all in the frame. There we go. Yeah. It's actually the covers to my sketchbook. I want to make the sketchbook look really special. I'm using a lot of plants that I grew up with since I grew up in the American Southwest. Granted, not all of these actually like grow together. They're actually like very different deserts. Well, I mean, they're not very different, like you can get to them, but the deserts are different. So technically, these are Joshua trees. They should be at the lower elevations. And then, oh my gosh, Oko Okadia, Okadia, something like that. I will get the name down. Um, I just always called them snake plants, but that's not a snake plant. But that's what like all my friends had called them. They were snake plants. They have little red flowers on the tips, so I need to add those. These are actually more familiar to the desert around Las Vegas. And Las Vegas is at a higher elevation than the Mojave Desert, which is what these Joshua trees are from. And then a little bit higher than Vegas in like mid Nevada, these are called bristlecones, bristlecone pine trees. And I really like the look of them. But because I grew up around these plants, I'm trying to make like a fantasy desert, if that makes sense. Like whenever I think of fantasy landscapes, it's always forests, mountains, snow, but like there's a very distinct look to it. So I thought I would experiment and make like what would my fantasy desert look like? And so I'm just kind of like putting all that together. Hello, Gray Cloud. Welcome, welcome. You're getting a sneak peek at a video coming up. This is the cover to my sketchbook. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. I want to make it look really special. I actually have a few other plants I'm going to add into this. There's like a weird cactus that kind of looks like fingers, but it like has a branch and then it has the fingers come out through the top and it's all covered in spines. They were all over Las Vegas, so I do want to put a couple of those in here, as well as some Mormon tea plants. And then I think like This will be like an idyllic fantasy desert. Yeah, I'm having some fun with it. But there's going to be a lot more added to this aside from the plants. So, like, I don't want to spoil that part. You guys will have to wait for the video for that. But this is just the landscape. I've been having some fun with it. Anyways, I do need to get back to this, though. And figure out what the plan is for tonight. At least it's night for me. I don't know if it's night for everybody in here. I know it's like early morning Saturday in Australia, and like maybe it's mid morning. Not too sure. I'm still learning my times, but I do know it's like 4 a.m. for UK. So I don't know. There's a lot of people that are normally in my lives that aren't going to be able to make it tonight. But I want to try to get like whoever happens to be up, or maybe some new people that haven't been able to catch a live of mine before. Also keeping me working on all of my projects. Oh, I hope you're staying safe out there. It's been cold. We're starting to warm up a little bit. We got a little bit of snow, and it's pretty much all melted now. I hope you're staying safe out there, Spins. Actually, got some interesting news. I follow some like community watches on like Reddit. I tried using the Nextdoor app once, and maybe it was just the area I lived in, but like that app is gross. I thought Facebook was bad, but like, what is it? That neighbor app, that was bad. And I think I had that app for like one day, and I was just like, no, this is not for me. You people make me mad with some of the things that you say. So I follow on Reddit. And we have some activity heading out our way. You just gotta be mindful. I do have some ideas for more art projects. We have a protest coming up, so I was thinking maybe I can make another protest sign. My other two got quite a bit of use. Might be time for a new one. I have a couple ideas going in my head, but at the same time, I'm also like, do I want to put it on cardboard or do I want to paint it onto a canvas? Canvas would make it much easier to get pictures of, so I can like upload good images online. But at the same time, I'm like, do I want to waste a canvas for that? Welcome for those that have joined. Just getting some work done in this painting. I'll be chatting. Feel free to just lurk in the background. No worries. Feel free to talk, ask questions. I'm doing my best to pay attention to the chat. I have the setting on for all messages. Yes, I have the setting on for all messages. Gotta double check that because last couple times it isn't set for all messages. I don't want to leave anybody out of the conversation. That would be rude. How's it going, Willow? I am doing good. You missed, I just showed off the cover to my sketchbook. I might show it off again later, but I can also just send you a picture later. I got some work done on it. I'm gonna need to add some more of that green right there. Yeah, it's probably getting close to your bedtime, isn't it? I want to say that's this color. I hope it's this color. How's your diamond painting coming along? I'm gonna take a chance and paint you right here. So you're hidden. I do not think that is the right green. Did I mix you away? I think I mixed. Oh no. I'm gonna have to remix some colors. I totally did. I was not thinking. Oopsie poopsie. I totally mixed away a color I needed. I'm gonna have to figure out how to make that again. I'm beating myself up over this. I even put it in a special little I put it in this one specifically so I was like, don't mix these colors. These colors are for this painting and you're going to need them. So what do I do earlier when I was working on my sketchbook? Mix these colors around. I'm such a doofus sometimes. Willow's been doing a bunch of really large diamond paintings. I've been trying to encourage her to get her videos up and posted. Poke, poke, nudge, nudge. I know when you're ready, though. I don't want you feeling pressured. It looks really interesting. I kind of want to try it, but my brain wants to go well, why do you have to follow a pattern? Why don't you just make your own diamond painting? I think you would do really well here on YouTube. I don't know, you're a little too wet. There was too much water on the brush. Anyways, I think you would be really good at YouTube. think you got a personality for it. And see, look, there's two people in here that also like diamond painting. So there's people out that would watch you. Not saying that you guys have to or anything, just like I don't want to make anybody feel obligated. There's no obligations here. I'm just talking. I know you're very artistic. That is, that is the wrong color. I think. Could it be that one? I need to figure out. This is gonna bug me. My ADHD is not gonna let me let this go until I figure out what color this is. That looks like it's gonna be a little too light, but it looks close. I can darken that up a little bit. Wow. I did not know you had a YouTube channel. I'm going to have to check you out now. What am I doing? That is the wrong color. Yeah, if you have a YouTube channel, like, do feel free to share your channel on my page. I know a lot of other content creators are like, no self-promoting. I get it, but I don't really care. You can talk about what you do. You can talk about if you have another channel. If you think somebody in chat would appreciate your channel, you can absolutely tell them you have a channel. We can boost each other up. People won't know you exist until they know you exist. And if they find out you exist through my chat, then yeah, promote yourself. Okay, that looks like it's gonna work. All right. Crisis averted. My brain should be happy now. I will definitely check you out. And who knows? Maybe I'll end up posting you while I'm like put you on my TV and create with your video on. Almost the feeling I get when I have other creators' videos on when they're arting and I'm arting is almost like it felt back in college. Like I didn't take any like really big art classes. This wasn't my major. It was just elective stuff to have fun. So like I did drawing 101 and graphic communication 101. I took a pottery class. I think I also took drawing 102. So just like basic stuff. And I would just like sit out like either in the cafeteria by the library and I would just do art. And then people would come see me doing art, and then they would bring out their art stuff, and they would start doing art. And just, people I had never seen before. And then we were just all sitting there doing art together. And when I'm watching other people's YouTubes, it kind of like invokes that same feeling. That's why I want to do more of these lives. Is I enjoy creating with others, so maybe I can provide that same feeling back. So I'm glad I could give you like someone to mirror while you're creating. Do you also post videos, Gray? Because I will totally make notes and watch your guys' videos. I want to do my best to really like support the art community. It means all artists. Support them all. Everybody deserves support. Okay, well, most people deserve support when it comes to creating art. Give myself some room. I got a new like little uh, art cart. I have all my paint in it. I haven't quite figured out the perfect spot for it yet, so like I'm bumping into it. Well, if you ever do get a channel, you'll have to let me know. Otherwise, I'm more than happy to just have you along doing your own little thing. See, Willow, you and I get each other. We're definitely like born under the same moon or something. Under the same stars. I don't really do astrology, so I'm not sure what I'm talking about. All I know is sometimes Mercury goes in the microwave. And bad things happen. Or drinking Gatorade, as my husband just said. I'm glad you got it back. Those periods are never fun. I never went quite that long without making art, but I did have dark periods where I wasn't doing art either. There's also a moment in my life where I couldn't, like when I was homeless in Las Vegas. That was rather difficult to do any kind of art. Especially because I was more concerned with like, how am I going to get a job? I can't even take a shower. And it was in like Vegas summer, so over 100 degrees. So I knew there was no way I did not stink. I needed to take a shower, and it was difficult. But I did end up getting out of that situation thanks to some friends. Pulled it back together. But I am glad that you found your creativity again. I bet that feels wonderful. I'd always feel alive after going any kind of period without making art and then trying it again. Yep, now I'm here. And married. That was something I never thought I would get or be, was married. That was another thing that I protested for. I remember standing out in the Vegas heat on Charleston and Maryland Parkway, protesting for our ability to marry. I think New York had just was like, or they hadn't even passed it yet. They were considering legalizing marriage equality without protesting. I honestly didn't think it was going to pass at the time. The 2006 or 2007. Feels like yesterday, but at the same time, a lifetime ago. I agree with you. But remember, it was only 30 years prior to when I was protesting that it still wasn't even legal in all states for interracial marriages. I remember friends telling me they were protesting for that back in the 1970s. Yeah, it's just one of those things I don't understand. Why does me living my life matter so much? Especially if I'm contributing to society. I'm not hurting or bothering anybody. Why does it matter? Why are you apologizing for dipping? You have nothing to apologize for. I hope you have a wonderful birthday, Spins. Happy birthday. I hope you're able to have a good day. I hope it's very memorable and happy for you. Get your rest. You got to party tomorrow. I will definitely check out your channel later. You have a good night and happy birthday, Spins. How much left of your pug do you have left, Willow? My goodness. What is with these ads? Sorry, I'm getting ads on my own live stream. Is everybody else getting like crazy amounts of ads? I need to figure out how to change that. I just did default settings. I need to make sure this is in frame first. About 1/4 of the way done. I saw Chantel, I saw her last video, and she was wanting to limit the number of ads on her channel. I need to look into that. I just did default stuff. But if I'm getting this many ads on my own live, just so I could read the chat, I'm like, that's a bit much. It's like every minute. Oh, you only have 1/4 of it left? Yeah, I think I'm gonna look into figuring out like how to decrease those. Like, I don't like I don't make crazy money on YouTube at all. I haven't even gotten my first payout yet, but like I don't know. It doesn't seem like I'm getting I'm not getting paid enough to be putting this many ads on everybody. Honestly, I would just rather not do ads at all if I didn't have to, but that extra money is going to go to art supplies. I gotta have some kind of trade-off. As long as like it can at least pay for art supplies. Which my first payout will pay for some art supplies, so I'm actually almost there. I think I'll get it this next week. I'll be honest with it. It's nothing spectacular. Like, I got monetized, I think, November, and the minimum you can withdraw is $100. So I had to earn $100 first before I could even get paid out, and I'm about to hit that. So, like, since November to now, I've made just under $100. Nothing spectacular, but that's enough to pay for some art supplies. Yeah, I want to be able to keep doing this. And Windsor and Newton discontinued a couple colors, so I need to buy some more of those tubes. They, in acrylics, they discontinued Prussian blue and buff titanium. And so now those are getting really expensive because stores aren't getting any more of them. I need to get a couple tubes before those are just like gone. Like the tubes normally cost me like $7 to $9 depending on the color. And right now, Prussian blue and buff titanium are like, the last I looked were like $20 a tube. And they're not even big tubes. But they're only going to increase in price. And I'm about halfway through my Prussian blue. So I know I want to get an extra tube of that at the very least. I don't use buff titanium as much. Oh, are you talking about buying thrifted sweaters to frog them for the yarn and turn them into something else? I saw somebody on TikTok doing something like that, and I thought that was so cool. I was like, that's a cool idea. A great way to get some like unique looking yarns. That is cool. I like that idea. I like the idea of reusing stuff. I could buy paintings and stuff from a thrift store and add stuff to them. There's a lot of artists who do that. I kind of like making my own landscapes though. Not that I have anything wrong with the style, but I like a little bit more detail in my landscapes, and so I would want to add all that detail to the landscape that somebody's already made. And then I feel like it wouldn't even be the original painting. I am not in screen anymore. Why did nobody tell me I'm not on the screen anymore? Oh, nice. Hello, illustrated away. I actually have. There was my favorite coffee shop. They used to do a paint night, but people would get drunk and they would leave their paintings that they made, and so the shop just got this like collection of canvases that had already been painted, and nobody claimed the paintings, but they didn't want to just throw them away, so they gave them all to me. And they're like, "You're an artist, you could do something with it," because I sometimes paint there, so I have like 20 to 30 canvases tucked away that have all been painted and have various landscapes on them. I've been trying to like figure out what I could do with that. And all I keep going back to is like, you know, do to the landscape what you like to do to paintings. Bring out the landscape better. Are you back in the screen fully? Did my camera move? Is that what's going on? No? Okay. I might do like a poll or something to figure out, get some ideas going with that those canvases, because I don't want to waste them. I do want to do something with them. Yeah, going through these paintings. So I could go get a couple. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. 1 second, because it's like they're easy to get. Okay, so I didn't even pick them out. I just grabbed. Here's one. So you can see like it was just like amateur paint night, wine and painting. I kind of see some mountains in it, but I also see waves. So like maybe I could do an ocean thing. Got an autumn mountain. I could definitely do something with this one. And then this is more like, got more detail in it, more texture. That's the other thing that I gotta consider is there's a lot of texture on some of these. All right, Willow, I hope you have a good night. Those were me. I'm so lost. Thank you, Illustrated Away. Yeah, it's an interesting series. I've been sitting on them trying to figure out like what in the world I could do with these. There's some like starts to like I could see the vision in them, but I definitely would want to like bring out a whole bunch more. But then the other thing is like these are cheaper acrylics, so I might need to like sand them down. Oh, I can't check my text messages right now, so you're fine. So definitely need to go through those and like figure out something. I have a bunch of them. I don't want to throw them away, but I definitely want to make them look more me, but still kind of honor the original artist's vision for what they were trying to paint. Just ideas. I'll check them after the live. This is the right color, right? Yeah, I did establish this is the right color. Because I'm a doofus and kind of mixed away my own color that I was using. What is that one artist that I follow? I think his name is Chris. He goes and buys thrifted paintings and then like he'll put pop culture characters in the paintings. Thought maybe of doing that, but I would definitely. I painted in some hair. Where did it go? There you are. Baxter, this is blonde. This is your hair. Oh my goodness. I can't grip it. Don't get paint on anything. I already did. Wow. I don't want to paint any hair into this. Doesn't matter how careful I think I'm being. There we go. I don't even know if you guys can see that. Little Baxter hair. Gonna focus. I don't think it's gonna focus. Whatever. This is why I have tweezers when I'm painting. That could be fun. That could be a lot of fun. Painting giant bugs. I do love painting bugs. They are a fun medium for me, or subject matter for me. Those are my normal paintings. Like, this is a Pokemon painting. I make my Pokemon landscapes. I would probably want to do a completely different series. Because I already like make really super detailed landscapes with Pokemon. Which I actually want to make some more this year. That is a goal of mine. They didn't do the what's it called? The Pokemon illustration contest this year. They had been doing it every other year, and it should have been going on right now. Because the last one, the submissions were due January 2024. So this should have been the year that they did them, and they didn't. I'm hoping they didn't get rid of them, but I know the last one they had issues with somebody submitting AI and they made it into the finalists. So I have a feeling they might be done, and I'm hoping that's not true because that was like my ticket for a goal, a dream of mine to get my artwork featured on a Pokemon trading card. I'm definitely going to need to darken this up a little bit more. You don't need to apologize. I'm just chatting. I like the bug idea though. That would be different. Like do like with that snowy mountain region. Did I bring that one out here? No, I have a snowy mountain one. Like it's all gray scaled. I could do like a pepper moth on it. They're like white and black speckled. And I think like the sky maybe it might be nighttime, so the sky might be black, and I could put like the white moth in the black sky. Have it like little black speckles. Kaiju bugs, exactly. You get the vision. Except have them be benevolent. Like they're not out there to destroy everything. I feel like that's still not dark enough. Why'd I do that? Mixed away my color. But like stomp stomp. I probably want them just like existing. They just are. Although, fun fact, bugs, uh, they bugs are impacted so greatly by their environment that they actually have like a limit to how large they could actually get, even in the most ideal of circumstances, at least on Earth. So like it doesn't matter how much oxygen there is, they would still be limited in their size. And the griffin fly, the giant dragonfly we all know, the one that had like a 6 foot wingspan, that was basically the limit. Our atmosphere at the time was like 30% oxygen. There was so much oxygen in our atmosphere that bugs were able to just run wild, and they hit their limit for how big they can get. And it's because their respiratory systems are like a straw. So throughout their body, they just have like these little straws that take in air into the respiratory system. And because the tubing is like a straw, like if you have a short straw, you could breathe through the straw just fine as long as the straw is short. But once it gets so long, you can no longer breathe out of the straw. And it works the same way for bugs. Like they just get too big that their respiratory systems just cannot take in oxygen anymore. So at least here on Earth, our bugs could never become kaiju size. But who says that those paintings have to be here on Earth? Their respiratory systems could be completely different. It could be more like ours. So they could get big. That would be cool. Probably not. I would probably be food with giant bugs, but it would be cool. What's funny is these are the same thoughts that pop up in my head when I'm painting, whether I'd be live streaming or not. Daydreaming about massive bugs. I I don't know if it's the same color. It's so close. I'm gonna be beating myself up for that though. I can't believe I did that. What was the point of making its own little separate cup if you were just gonna do that? I am talking to myself just so you're aware. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I see there's more people coming in. I'm just painting a bush. I do like that I am seeing quite a few people in here though. This is telling me that this is a decent time. Because I do want to try and stream where I can offer streams where like most of my audience can get an opportunity to sit in and live if they want to. Hey, how's it going, Travis? Nice of you to join in. Creative Jargon is another one. If you guys are not subscribed to, he's a really good artist. I really enjoy his videos. And if you like really long stuff, he made a documentary kind of going over a lot of his artistic journey and rediscovering himself. I thought it was really good. So I'm totally gonna hype up his videos. Yep. There's they found what could possibly be fossils of bacterial colonies on Mars. The only issue is the land rover at Mars doesn't have the equipment to actually like test and examine the rocks fully the way that they need to be to confirm if they are fossils or not. So they would have to be sent back. And the Land Rover, I guess, has the ability to send it back, but it's a super expensive process just because of the amount of manpower we would need here on Earth to do that. And so that is currently limiting it. But they do have it marked on Mars that there is a possibility that there could be fossils there. And like, let's say in Mars's history, it had been impacted by an asteroid, sent chunks of its like crust into space. It could have come back up, down onto Earth. And we have life forms that can live in the vacuum of space. They go into dormant states. Tardigrades, water bears, they can do it. And I do believe that there are some like algae that can also do it. So like, yeah, they absolutely could be like aliens and survived an impact and landed here on Earth, like landed in the ocean, survived the entire journey, and now they just live here on Earth. Saturn also has moons that could potentially have life on them. And the same thing, like there could be technically Earthlings on like this moon around Saturn from when like the asteroid that hit the dinosaurs. And Lazy, you watch Lazy? Is he why he keeps popping up in my FYP? I get like your audience also watches this, and so like, are you the reason Lazy's popping up in my FYP so much? Oh, nice. I haven't watched a Mr. Ballin video in a minute. He used to pop up in my thing all the time. There's another one I used to watch. I haven't watched in a minute. Oh, what is it called? Ghost Town Living. The guy bought a ghost town in California. Oh my gosh, I'm even forgetting the ghost town's name. I totally wanted to go out and visit. Hey Travis, I think you might be a little lagging behind. So when you get this, click the live button. I don't know why YouTube does that. I don't seem to like that doesn't happen to me when I don't do it often, but when I do watch Twitch, that doesn't seem to happen. I don't know why it happens on YouTube. I don't know the channel's name that I watch like for bed, but it's just like white noise. But the whole channel like just has a bunch of like different different settings and different types of white noise. And the one I watch is like you're on a spaceship, but the master bedroom is like sleeping next to the windows, just flying through the stars, and you're just hearing like the the hum of the engines of the spaceship. That's the one I watch for bed, and it's just for the noise. I like the white noise. I will definitely have to check it out. I love listening to that kind of stuff when I'm creating. I'll have that kind of stuff off. I like, of course, Kendall Ray. I also watch Bailey Sarian. Swoop is another one. I like Swoop. I kind of feel like I get my drama fix watching Swoop videos. She likes to cover bad things influencers and people online are doing. But I like the way she delivers it, the petty university. So though, like, love watching those kinds of videos when I'm creating, but then I also like watching other artists. And so like when I catch up on all my artist videos while I'm creating, then I'll watch the drama channel or true crime. And then when I'm caught up on all that stuff, I go back to my art videos and then I kind of like bounce between them. But I have started getting more into like some of the scarier, just like fun stories. I think like Snook is one I watch or listen to. Covers like weird Reddit stories. I appreciate you looking out. Thank you for that. I actually submitted my own personal scary story for one of those channels. I never followed up to see if they actually used it. I think I sent it actually like a couple times to just different people because I thought it was such a weird thing that happened to me. Um, so in my last video, I had talked about how like I had traveled all over Nevada, and it's one of my favorite states to travel through just because of all the ghost towns and the desert. But the reason I would go to a lot of these places is because of my dad. So he was a steam locomotive engineer for the East Ely Rail, or well, now it's the Nevada Northern Railway, but it's in East Ely, Nevada, which is just an old ghost town. Kind of famous, kind of not. If you seen the early 2000s Rat Race, Silver City, New Mexico was actually filmed in Ely, Nevada. And the train yard scene when they're at the like the train station, that's all in Ely, Nevada. It's pretty close to Vegas, so that's why they filmed it there because they could just make it look like New Mexico. But yeah, I used to go to that train yard all the time. It was like my old stomping grounds. But one of the times I was in there, I would go exploring by myself all the time. I was like 11, 12 years old. I would go up there between 11 and 15 years. old. So I was like middle school, high school age, playing Pokemon on our road trips. But anyways, I would also go there and explore because like I had free reign of a train yard. My dad would go out on like an excursion, so they would take the locomotive out and everybody would be on the train. And I would just be left in the train yard by myself because the excursion was like 2.5 hours and I had done it so many times I was bored of it. I didn't want to do it, so I just wanted to explore. And I would go into the engine house a lot. I loved climbing all over the steam locomotives. I just, pretending like I'm driving the train and imagining like what it was like back when these locomotives were in their heyday. Because they also had a few run down; they weren't working anymore. So I'd like imagine what this train would look like when it was all put together. But one of the times I was in there, I like got this really weird feeling. So the engine house was split up into two sections. You had like the workshop of the engine house where you could fit in two locomotives and you could work on them. So, it was like a parts area. So like if the uh, brakes went out or something else was wrong with the boiler or needed to be cleaned, like they would take it in there. There was a section of the floor cut out so you could get actually underneath the engine. And then there was like a giant crane that could actually lift parts off of the locomotive because it was so heavy. But I was in the other part, which was the actual engine house, and that was where they had three locomotives that ran, so all three of them were kept there. Then there were a bunch of other ones in the very back that didn't run or work anymore, as well as some other coaches that they didn't take on to excursions for whatever issues, or because they had whatever issues were wrong with them. Like years prior, before I'd gone there, they had actually gotten into an accident while they were on an excursion. The mines were still open, and the mines lost one of their cars, and it came barreling down the tracks, hit their engine, and it busted up a bunch of their coaches and the engine. So, like all that stuff was in the engine house, and that's where I was kind of exploring, getting like lost in my memories with this. But while I was exploring, I got this really weird feeling, and I felt like I was being called over into the workshop area. So I kind of like left, went into the workshop area. I was walking around. They had engine 93, which was still being worked on from that accident, as well as coach number 5, which was the main coach that had like also gotten a lot of damage done from that impact. And so like I was there kind of like walking around, and I all of a sudden realized like a mist had rolled in, but it was more like the steam to a locomotive. But I didn't hear the locomotive, so I thought they may have came back from the excursion. And I'm like, I didn't hear the door roll up or the engine pulling in. Like, why is all the steam coming in? Look over, there's no engine, so I'm like trying to figure out where the steam was coming from. And then next thing I realized, engine 93 was like tilted over me. So like here I am, 12 years old, and the engine felt like it was towering over me and on one set of its wheels on one track. Kind of freaked me out. I jumped back because I thought it was going to fall on me, and then it just like crashed back, and it was loud, like the ground shook. And that was what really freaked me out, was the ground had shook. And I had run out of there, and I like waited in my dad's truck for everybody to come back, and he knew something had happened to me because I was like white, and I was in the truck waiting for him, and he was like, "You're never in the truck. What's going on?" And I didn't want to talk about it at the time. But he went to finish out like cooling down the engine, closing down the shop so we could go to the motel. And when we got there, he had thought I had knocked over one of like, they had these giant wrenches. Like I'm talking like 6 to 10 feet long wrenches. They were huge. One of them was on the ground, and that thing weighed more than I did at 11 years old. The thing was heavy and big. So he thought I had knocked it over, and everybody had realized like, this was supposed to be like up and away in a safe area, but it was on the ground, and you could tell like it had fallen onto the concrete because there was fresh chips in the concrete. So he thought I had knocked that down. I don't even remember that knocking down, but I still wouldn't talk about it, but I do remember that, and I've shared that story with a couple people because that really freaked me out. That's like the one paranormal thing. I don't know exactly what in the world happened, if I was hallucinating or what, but other people, like something else had happened that other people did notice, which made me feel like it really did happen. Like maybe the wrench had fallen off after the engine had landed back down. I don't know what happened with that, but that one moment has stuck with me. That was like the scariest thing in my life, and I had no idea what happened. Hello, Jay of all trades. How's it going, Frosty? I used to have the boxcar children books too. I could not tell you what any of those stories were about though. I used to read them all the time, like second and third grade. They were the books I would read for the free pizza from Pizza Hut. Nice. Like, hey, now like for my life, you guys all know like my one paranormal story. I don't even know if it was paranormal. I just cannot explain what in the world happened to me in that moment. I have a question for you, Frosty. Are you gonna do the upcoming Go Fest in Pokemon? You get Shiny Diancie this time. I haven't decided yet. Yeah. Uh, Although, like, I ended up going back in that engine house. Not on that one trip. I didn't go back in the engine house. I actually stayed in the gift shop, which used to be like the old ticketing office. I stayed in the gift shop the rest of the trip because that really freaked me out. But then, like the next time I went up, like I just went back in because then curiosity got the best of me, and I was wondering like, would it happen again? Could I get this thing to happen again? And no, it never happened again. That was just the one time. I miss Pokemon Go because of like the friends I would go out and raid with, but I just like, oh my gosh, it is such a money sucker now. I can't justify the amount of money like to be decent at the game. I can't justify spending that much money on it anymore. But I mean, my account is still kind of stacked. Like I could probably go out and raid comfortably for a couple months because I think I have 167 raid passes. Because like I used to go like hard with raiding. Frosty used to travel with me, and we would raid together and go hunting together. We had our group, so like he could vouch. I would not be surprised if he had like 100 something raid passes as well, just left over from our raiding days. Yeah, it just it's not the same. Not since the raid passes, people just don't go out anymore, and I mean, if the prices were still the same as they were, and they weren't like all the events locked behind, like special tickets, I would probably go back out and do it. I was going strong even through the pandemic. I was still going pretty strong with it, but shortly after, I would say like 2021 was when it really like I kind of stopped with Pokemon Go. I'll still open up the app and I'll catch what's around me every once in a while, but just not like I used to. All right, Jay of all trades. I hope you have a wonderful night. I appreciate you stopping by. I do that with my Pokemon games. Scarlet and Violet. Well, Violet, my Violet version. I play like an hour every day. It's what I use to wake up in the morning. Some people like to read the newspaper. I don't have to worry about falling asleep while playing some video games. So I'll play like Pokemon for an hour or two in the morning while I'm drinking my coffee. The games are, they have their pros and they have their cons. The storyline and the characters are the best I've ever seen in a Pokemon game. So, like, I do recommend it if you like the characters. Also, the Pokemon from that generation. I think Gen 9 has some very strong Pokemon. I love them all for the most part. There's none that I actually hate. Like, not even Raging Bolt, Raiko's Paradox form, the Brachiosaur. I freaking love that thing. But I've been shiny hunting on that. I have been playing Legend ZA or ZA, however you say it, but I don't know. It hasn't been as fun. It's the most expensive Pokemon game to date, and I just feel like we got so much more with Gen 9, and it was cheaper. The base game was cheaper and the DLC. And this game just like it costs more, but it feels like it has so much less. There's things about it I love. Like I love some of the direction the game has gone, and I hope that continues. But then there's just not enough. I don't think enough to justify it increasing in price the way that it did. Ah, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know if I would redesign any of them. I kind of love the Mega Evolutions. I'm trying to think. Yeah, the Mega Evolutions. I, like even the Starmie. I get the Starmie. I understand why it looks the way it does because Japanese culture, like the old Japanese monster movies, the Starmen from outer space. That's totally what Starmie is playing off of, and like I kind of love that. Here we go. Does it look close enough? I think it looks close enough. And Victory Bell was another one that people hated, but I really love Victory Bell. I actually used it on my main team. I found a shiny Bellsprout, and I used Mega Victory Bell on my team. Okay, I could see Dragonite. My only issue with Mega Dragonite is I feel like the Mega was tailored for the shiny version. And if that was the case, why didn't they just make the blue Dragonite its regular look as a Mega? Because it definitely looks so much better in that blue. It looks more angelic. I feel like the color scheme just plays a lot nicer together and it kind of makes sense. So, like, why didn't they just stick with that for the regular? You were gonna do the Victory Bell or fix that color scheme? Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, I feel like it should have gotten the fairy typing as well. Yeah, I think I honestly even think like the shiny version they should have done like a purple, just because like the orange is shifting to the orange is shifting to blue. I guess like the green could have shifted to like pink, and then it could have been like the drag. Like there you go. Yeah, it doesn't even need to be purple. It could have been pink. It could have matched the Dragonaire's shiny color, Dragon Dratini and Dragonair, just been blue and pink. I think that would have been really cool for the Mega. And I think the pink also would have been a really good color scheme for its look. Better than the orange. I'm a little also like disappointed with the new Mega Z's. I actually haven't gotten them in my playthrough yet. I'm at the end stage, like the final thing for the DLC, but I haven't done it yet. Like I already know what's coming. I just been shiny hunting and looking for other Pokemon, trying to fill out my decks. So I know what's coming, but like I haven't gotten any of the Z Megas yet, and I like Garchomp Z. I feel like they should have had a second typing. It should have been flying instead of just pure dragon. They took ground away from it to like get rid of its quad ice weakness. But I feel like they should have given it flying. I get why they didn't do it, but that's neither here nor there. And then like Lucario. I wish they would have given it a different type. Like that's my biggest complaint with any of the Z's is Lucario's. I feel like it looks like Hatsune Miku, and it should have been a different type. It should have been like Steel Dark. That would have made sense for it, or Fighting Ghost. The Ghost part would have worked out really well for it. I had an all bug team on my. I played Shield mainly. And I had an all bug team. I had Scorch, Frosmoth. Who else did I have? I had a Shuckle, Volcarona. Did I have Volcarona? No, Volcarona was in the DLC. Vespiquen. I had Vespiquen, um, Galvantula, Shuckle, Scorch, Frosmoth. Oh, and Araquanid. And I had them all shiny. I also had a Durant, and I would switch Shuckle out and Durant. And the entire team was shiny. I shiny hunted all of them and spent hours because I had to get a shiny. I had a self-imposed rule. I had to get a shiny before I could take on a gym. So like my very first shiny was Centiscore, or well, no, not Centiscorch. It's pre-evolution. I can't remember its name. But anyways, like that was my first one, and I didn't even use my Sobble. I started with Sobble, but it just sat in the box. How could you forget about Shuckle? That thing was a tank. I loved my Shuckle. I had power swap on it, so it would switch its defense with its attack. Was it that? I don't know if that was the name of it, but I had something like that on it, and it would let me switch its or what it's yeah my defense with my attack, and that thing was a monster. Yeah, he is a secret powerhouse. I feel like Pokemon Go did him dirty. They just use him as a joke. I feel like I need to go back over some of these just because the color is just a little off. I need to add some of it into this bush just so they work well together. The other one that I thought like I was really impressed with because it was my first time using it was Araquanid. Oh, and that reminds me, I had a Golisopod. I didn't really use it though. I ended up liking araquanid so much better as a water bug type. I was really impressed with araquanid. The one that I had like a grudge against though was my freaking Galvantula because Joltik took me like I want to say it was like over 3,000 eggs before I finally got my shiny Joltik. That took like 2 weeks. I was getting so frustrated with that one. I was like, you took your damn time. Oh, nice. Oh, I'm sorry, Grey Cloud. I totally missed your message. Oh, it got switched back. All right. If you're still here, I hope you have a good night. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I know why they put the wings on its head. It's totally following the Valkyrie motif that kind of got us like hinted at with Dratini and Dragonair. They have the Valkyrie thing going on where the head wings, very much so in Greek mythology and mythology. So that's kind of like what they're following along. So I understand why it has head wings, and then it actually has like the Seraphim wings because it's got 6 wings total. It's got 3 sets: the head, the shoulders, and the feet. And it's totally playing off of Hermes with it being like a messenger Pokemon. Like I understand its design. I think parts of it could have been implemented a little bit better, but my biggest gripe with it is its color scheme. I don't think the orange does it justice. Oh, I'm kind of jealous. I've been seeing so many really cool videos with resin. It also could be because I've been watching Kate and Evan and watching a whole bunch of their videos, but like I want to work with resin. It looks like such a fun medium, but I am so messy as well. I feel like I would make a mess with it. Goals. I do want to work with some new mediums this year, so like I think resin's going to end up being the one I choose. There we go. That looks a little bit better. At least the colors match more effectively. And now I got to work on the lilies. I guess I could work with this. So I do need to get some branches coming out. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, my paints cost money. Like, this is my normal size tube that I get. So 60 milliliters, 2 US ounces, and these are like 9 to anywhere between $6 and $9. Trying to remember the prices, and these take up so much of my money. I look at resin products and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be dropping down some money for those. But at the same time, I'm like, it looks so cool. There we go. Something was wrong with the stream. Sorry. Totally like probably just my other my other phone. Just making sure everything's looking nice. Just spray water all over the place. Anyways, where was I doing? I was doing these plants. I need to put in some little highlights in them. I think this color will work. Yep, this will work. I mean, there's a reason I paint rocks. They're free. So I do get it. But there's some things like I will absolutely do my best to save money for. And my paints are one of them. Like, I don't have anything against Apple Barrel. I know a lot of artists use Apple Barrel. It it does the job, but I've gotten so accustomed to Winsor and Newton. I really like the way that I can work with it. Like, I've definitely gotten like set in my ways when it comes to acrylic paint. You're gonna fight each other with tiny little swords and be like, on guard. You turn them into earrings or pennants. I would totally, if Eric and I had like a resin kit like that, I would totally fight him with tiny swords. I would give him one, and I'm like, we're dueling. You're you're trouble. Illustrated, you are trouble. You're providing me with reasons why I should get them, and my husband's not going to like that. Well, if I just get the silicone stuff, then like we don't have to worry about like needing to replace that kind of stuff because that's reusable and that will be cheaper. And I do get that stuff to last a while. Like my brushes, they've lasted me a long time. I try to use stuff as long as possible. What was it that I just found? I was going through my art stuff and I actually found an art supply from my high school days. What was it? Because that took me on a trip. When I found that, I was just like, "Oh my gosh!" Oh, my graphite set. I had a graphite pencil set that I got for Christmas in high school, and I just never used it. I ended up like buying other pencils and stuff like that, and it just kind of sat in a box, just my old stuff. And I found that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So like that's like a 20 years old set. I kind of like I should probably use this. I love Nerd Forge. She Martina is something else. I love the way her brain works. She's done so many different projects where I just like I watched the video and I'm just kind of like flabbergasted at what she created. Like the last one, her storage units. Oh my gosh, that blew my mind. I remembering that now. Oh my goodness, yeah. I sat down and I just watched that. I had to watch it twice because I was like, she literally turned her storage units into a medieval village, working lights and windows and everything. And I was just so blown away by that. I'm like, I could never. I mean, I probably could if I put my mind to it, but at the same time, I'm like, that is crazy. I don't think I would have ever thought of anything like that. But I kind of want to try it. I think that was one of like the most amazing things I've seen her make. Although she's made quite a few really amazing things. Like there was that robot she made, that sculpture. So many of her dioramas are just amazing. I'm gonna sound like a broken record talking about her just because I'm her I'm fascinated by her stuff. Her stuff awes me. Can you see it? Kind of. Oh, that was a big one. Oh well. I turned the brush the wrong way and made a fat line when I wanted a thin line. Hello, life is good. I appreciate that. Thank you. There's a bunch of new people in this live that didn't hear the last time I said what this painting was for. I had a good friend last year lose her nephew. And so this is gonna end up being like a painting for her with him in it and his favorite Pokemon, so that he can live in the canvas, and whenever she sees this, she could think about all the fun things he's doing. He was 11 years old when he had some health complications. She's told me I could talk about it, but I feel kind of weird because I don't really. I didn't ever get a chance to meet him, but he just had a sudden health emergency and his body just couldn't handle it. So I'm doing a painting for her to commemorate Kenny. One of the reasons why I've had such a hard time working on this painting. I really love where the painting's going too, because I want it to look idyllic. I want it to look like a heaven. If you could jump into the painting, I want it to look like something you would want to jump into. So I do want, like, I'm planning on putting Kenny about right here, catching a football, Cinderace jumping in the background, kicking a football, American football, because Kenny loved American football. Pikachu somewhere over here by the tree, Jirachi somewhere up in the sky. Just his three favorite Pokemon, and this will be for her a special painting so he could be with the Pokemon he absolutely loved. And it will help her smile whenever she thinks about him. That's just my main goal with this. I just want to create something that will help her smile. So it's put a lot of artificial pressure on me and caused me to just like end up staring at it at times where I don't actually work on it. I could show you guys my other project. It's actually just right over there, out of frame. She's been getting updates and she's popped in the lives a couple of times. She's really loving the direction this is going. I've been making sure like she's happy with it. That's the main thing. It's gonna sit in her house. She's gonna be the one looking at it. I want to make sure she's happy with it. I try to keep everybody in the loop with my commissions, unless like I don't know if someone else is in the chat, but there's another commission I got that I'm working on, and there's been a lot more artistic liberties granted with it. And I had one other one where the person was like, "No, I don't want to see any progress. I just want to see it when it's completed." So I've gotten a couple of those too, but most of the time I do like include progress reports and like where I'm sitting at with when it comes to like paintings, and try to like work with them to the best of my abilities, because so many of my paintings just involve really like strong emotions in them. So like I try to work with them like I got to be in like the right kind of headspace for certain kinds of paintings. So I just try to work with them on that so they know like where I'm at with my art and where I'm at with their painting, and making sure we're all on the same page. It's like my main goal with this when I do commissions. Make sure the person ordering the commission is on the same page. Although I did offer this to my friend for free because this is a different kind of painting. I know times are hard, and like this painting is taking so long. I was like, I'm not even looking to take anything from you. This is for you and your family. I want to get a print for her sister as well, Kenny's mom, so they could both have at least a copy of it. I could tell you put a lot of emotion into that mural. That really, like, it was something special for you. I could feel it in your video. As long as you're not a jerk, I will be kind to every person I meet. As long as you're not a jerk, but I will stick up for people, and I have been told when I'm sticking up for people that I'm quite scary. Even though like I do everything I can to not fight people. I don't want to get physical, but I have been told a couple of times like I used to work with clients with cognitive disabilities, learning impairments, and one of my clients, even though he looked completely normal inside, he like was basically like a toddler when it came to like learning capabilities, as well as he was nonverbal. And we went to a store, somebody was being a jerk to him, and it was like starting to set him off, and it was really like making him upset, and the person just would not let up because my client was nonverbal. He wasn't responding, wasn't talking. And when I first tried like intervening, this person just completely ignored me, even though like I was there to help this my client be able to do what they wanted to do at the store, because that was my job. And they just like completely blew me off just going after my client, and that was like I got in between my client and them, and I raised my voice because they were just ignoring me, and apparently really scared this lady, and she went and got the store manager, but they ended up watching the tapes, and like she ended up getting kicked out. But like I have been told quite a few times like I will stick up for people. Do not I will be super loving, and I will be the kindest person absolute like I absolutely can be to everybody, unless you give me a reason not to be. I am a 6'2" guy. I'm like 230 pounds, so I am not small. I am a big guy, and I have to remember that like I can be scary without meaning to be scary. Yeah, especially when it comes to people with like disabilities trying to just navigate in our world, which isn't made for them. It is so much harder for people with especially like physical mobility disabilities or cognitive disabilities. Just our society isn't made for them, and it's a very cruel world to them. And I did my best to help them navigate, but there are just some people in this world that just do not care. They do not care like who they're hurting, who they're pushing. No time to understand that like other people in this world exist. And so like yeah, that was one of the things that really like pushed my buttons. Like just I don't care what you have going on. Do not get into other people's faces, especially when like they're making it pretty clear like they cannot communicate with you. I guess like Karen kind of things. Like if you're punching down, there you go. Like I've said it before, if you're punching down on people, I'm not okay with that. I like that is a hard boundary, and I will stick up for whoever is being punched down on. Punching up is okay. Like yeah, you can punch up towards the billionaires. I don't care there. Just no punching down. And it was such a stupid thing too. It was just because like my client had issues with like vision issues as well, and all of the lights in a certain area of the store went out, so he got kind of stuck because he couldn't see where he was going, and he didn't have like he used to have a walking stick with him. He didn't have it with him because we were out during the day and he only ever took it out at night. So he didn't have that with him. All the lights went off in the store. He started kind of like panicking. I was trying to calm him down, and this lady was just like wanted to be in the middle of everything. Like it wasn't even about you, lady. You inserted yourself. Especially like she could also tell I was with him. Like that was the other thing. Like, why are you ignoring me? Why are you only targeting him when I'm the one trying to address you? And like just give you some understanding of what's going on, and that we need space. You need to leave. So like I could calm him down and get him into a more lit area of the store just so he understands what's going on. And this lady's just yelling. Yes. Yep. I agree. Illustrated. That's exactly what it is. That's why I will defend artists on YouTube as well. I know some of it's petty trolls, but I will use them for engagement. I will take the brunt end of whatever they're trying to spew to boost the engagement of a video, make money off of them. I did that with another artist. Like I will totally use a troll's uh like what I don't even know what feeling it is, but they always have to get the last word in. They always have to be right. That kind of thing. I will totally milk that. Like, all right, I'll egg you on. Let's boost my friend's videos. You're gonna be a troll and comment anyways. Might as well make some money off of you. Yeah, I agree. They do need to go back to kindergarten. And yeah, like that Ghostbusters theme is like it really is a slime. If anything with what's going on right now is like showed me is it really is. It's like a slime that takes over and traps people. But I do know like there's probably some people in the community, my community already that have noticed it because like um some of my videos, not all of them. I think I've gotten like maybe three three separate incidences where like somebody will respond to another person. They won't even like comment to me directly on the video. They'll respond to somebody else and they'll pick on one of my like audience members. Like, no, do not pick on my audience. I will go after you. You leave my audience alone. I will make a fool of you. Especially because I don't care if I make a fool of myself. I have been considered a fool most of my life. Why would I care if I make a fool of myself? I might actually get to start on some of the flowers today. Oh no, I'm gonna be putting in clovers. But that part looks so much better. Got that variety. Just a little bit of variety in the color. I don't even know if you guys can see what I'm painting. Kinda. Way to go, Penji. Penji's another one. Don't mess with Penji. I have noticed, like, it's weird how, like, I've picked up on so many different people within my community, but I've noticed I've got some mama bears that follow me and are subscribed to my channel. And it gives me the warm fuzzies to see that, like, I've created a space that's welcoming to mama bears because they're, like, the best kinds of people to have on your side. Yep, yep. I'll be nice to everybody. I will show everybody kindness. Unless you give me a reason to be mean, and then I am gonna make you cry. This world is like the life is already hard enough. People who purposely make it harder for others, like I'm not okay with. I think that's my biggest pet peeve when I see you making life harder for others, then I'm not okay with it. Unless of course it's billionaires. If it's billionaires, then who cares? But then we got like orcas doing it for us, and I cheer on the orcas. That almost inspired an art piece. Now that I'm thinking about it, I almost did a painting for the orcas. I kind of, I should do that. That should be in my sketchbook. Do an orca painting. Oh, this is making me want to play Legends Arceus. I haven't picked that game up in a hot minute. I almost completed my third run through on that game. Oh, I'm glad you caught part of it. It's coming together, yeah. Just takes some time. That's why I used to do progress pictures because it's weird when paintings take a really long time. Any kind of art project really that takes a long time when there's tedious work. Um, it's kind of hard in the moment to conceptualize what exactly is evolving in your artwork as you're working on it. So I would take progress pictures so like I could actually like physically like look at the pictures, and also it helped me realize like where I would go wrong when I would like overwork areas of an art project. Progress pictures really help like you narrow down like that's the moment I started overworking something so you don't do it again in the future. And I don't know how you pronounce your name. Is it supposed to be Mias? Double M? Mias? I know not every screen name is like meant to be said out loud, but I do want to try to like make sure I'm addressing people in a way that they would recognize, so they know that I'm talking to them. Give everybody a little bit of attention. And see, like now that I'm added in all the extra colors for these other plants, the lily plants are looking kind of bare. I definitely need to add in another green shade with them to help them feel alive. Painting's supposed to be based off of heaven, so I'm gonna have like lush, nice looking lilies. Oh, okay, madam. Are you okay with me calling you madam? I feel a little weird calling someone I don't know madam because, like, my friends and I used to call each other madam, but like, that was a best friend thing. Madam. Are we gonna go to the club today? Madam. I have work in the morning. Or the other one aside from madam would be like, I am a lady. Who would use lady a lot too. I appreciate it, Travis. See, madam to me is like, it's more respectful. It's like almost it commands respect. Has an aura, a presence about it. I will remember that now, though, that MME is abbreviation for madam. I never knew that. I might have to reach out to some of my old friends and be like, Madam, we haven't spoken in a while. What are you up to? But they won't understand the MME. Or they might, and I could just be dumb. Not dumb, but just unaware. Boy, it is hard to paint while also trying to focus to make sure you're in screen when you're doing the sides like this. I don't even normally paint the sides of canvases. I normally just like go over them with a single color. I wanted the wraparound effect this time. Although I gotta make sure I let her know, like, don't unwrap it. I did a wrapped painting for someone else a couple years ago, and they wanted to put it in a frame, so they unmounted it, and it messed up the border of the the painting because the canvas was unmounted. So I need to make sure I remember, like, don't unmount the canvas. It is painted the way it is because of the mount. You can frame it without taking it out of the frame itself. Oh, you didn't hear about the orcas? They were, what was it? In the Mediterranean Sea, they were attacking yachts and boats. And scientists, like, it wasn't malicious. The scientists that were watching it are like, well, the orcas aren't being mean about it, but it seems more like they're just playing. And it was like a lot of younger orcas. They were just attacking boats and disabling their rudders. And like boats started playing really loud music to try to scare the orcas off. Like they were putting speakers in the water and blasting music, but that seemed to like to annoy the orcas. So then they were like purposefully just going after the boats playing the music to try to get the music to turn off, which like yeah, I could have told you that they're smart enough to do something like that. But they were just going after like these yachts and stuff, and people were rooting for the orcas to go after the 1%, to go after their boats, to sink their yachts. And I thought it was really funny. It was either last year or 2024, because it's no longer 2025. I think it was 2024 that this was going on. But well, while it was going on, I was like, I want to do an art piece for the orcas because, like, yeah, go orcas, attack the mega yachts. They even like stranded a couple boats. Like they completely disabled the rudders and took out the engine. So like they were like stranded. They were just floating in water. It was quite an ordeal. Oh yeah, and the younger orcas on the west coast of the United States and the Pacific Ocean. I guess like they established that orcas have trends, kind of like how people have trends. And one of them was like the orcas were wearing salmon on their heads as a hat, but it was all the younger orcas until like the older orcas also started doing it, and then all the younger orcas stopped doing it because the older orcas were doing it. And these are wild orcas. So like the scientists were like, orcas apparently have trends as well, and being embarrassed about your elders isn't a like solely human trait because it's also present in orcas, which I thought was really funny, and it kind of tells me like that's more of a social thing that came up within mammals. But yeah, so apparently orcas are also like they're big on the trends. They have their own trends, and the younger orcas do not like it when the older orcas start doing these trends. That was like, yeah, I found that one fascinating. I fell into a rabbit hole with the salmon, with the orcas wearing salmon on top of their heads. I think I spent like 2 weeks just learning about orcas because of that, just that one, the orcas wearing salmon as hats, because it also happened in the 70s. And I was like, well, if it was documented in the 70s and it's happening again right now, like at least we got some stuff I can research. Orcas are very interesting creatures. I do love our whales friends. Like, Mom, this is my thing. Why are you copying my thing? I don't want to do it anymore. Yes, it is a little late. I'm probably gonna go for like another hour. So I do get like my 3 hour long video, but I wanted to test out like what kind of time might be good for Australia as well, because I do know I have some Australian uh, audience members, so I kind of want to make sure I do lives where they have an opportunity to join. That's so choral. Before you hop off, Travis, I'll show you my sketchbook. So I shared this earlier. Oh, there we go. So I shared this earlier, and this is one of my projects I'm working on. This is my sketchbook. There's still a lot more work I need to do to it, but it's all plant life that I know. I think there's a couple people who might know some of it, because I did find out that there's some people from Eastern Nevada and Utah and Southern California, so you might recognize some of these, but I'm doing like a fantasy desert scene. So, like, there's Joshua trees, there's bristlecone pine trees. Uh, oh my goodness, what are these called? I just looked these up too. Ocotillos. Ocotillos. They're like, I used to call them snake plants when I was a kid, but they're not snake plants. That is a different type of plant. So there's ocotillos in there, the bristlecones. I got some like generic desert stuff, but then I also have like some more planned. It's like Mormon tea is another desert plant I'm gonna put in this. There's a couple kinds of cacti. Thinking like barrel, but all just plant life that I grew up with in the deserts. So I'm making like a fantasy desert like scene. Yeah, you're up. Like pinyon pine was another one. I was thinking of adding some pinyon pines in the background because they're more up near me now. And I used to pick. I went out actually to Mount Charleston outside of Las Vegas to pick pine nuts with friends. So I'm very familiar with pinyon pines. Hey, uh, I try to tell everybody that's an artist, learn about what's out there in the world. It will inspire you. Right? I go down rabbit holes when I'm starting different art pieces just because, like, I want to be I want to use different kinds of plants. Like I did a painting for a Vietnam rainforest, and I deep dived into what kind of plants would this specific area have that's native to it, and then like because it was for someone's pet, their cat, they got their cat in Vietnam, and then they traveled back to the United States, and they wanted a commemorative painting based off of where they met. So I used a whole bunch of different plants that I discovered that live in Vietnam, and it really adds a whole bunch of new life to the painting. So like, even though a lot of these desert plants don't all live to get like right next to each other, Joshua trees are at the lowest elevation, and then the ocotillos are around Las Vegas, which is a higher elevation than where the Joshua trees are, because this is the Mojave Desert, Southern California, so like between Vegas and LA. And then the Ocotillos are around Las Vegas. And then if you go a little further north of Las Vegas, so you get to a higher elevation, that's when you'll find the bristlecones and the pinyon pines. But they're all still desert, and they're all around me. They're what I grew up with. So like, I just kind of are forcing them in together in this fantasy desert landscape. Yeah, I think it's really important to just kind of like grow. And even if you're not completely accurate, like, because this isn't a completely accurate piece, like, I did still take some liberties. Like, I mean, these plants would be like, oh, definitely they're looking manicured. They're very green. This isn't something necessarily you would find in the wild, but like when bristlecones are thriving, they have this like really cool orangey color mixed with their white bark, or like the Joshua trees. They look um, they're a little bit more brighter green. Most of the time, they're a lot duller, unless it's right after it rains, and then they're very vibrant. So like this is definitely like looking like I perfect conditions for the desert, but at the same time, like it still feels like my home, what I know. And I kind of want to share that kind of stuff. I do the same thing with like my forest paintings, where like I'll take forest from a specific area and I'll kind of like branch out maybe 50 miles and add those kinds of plants. I have one that I want to work on that's got sequoias and redwoods in it because those are other trees that I really freaking love. I love sequoias. Only been to them a couple times in my life, but if you ever get a chance to go to California, Sequoia National Park has to be on your list to go and see. Those trees are just, they're amazing. They're so big. So many of my skies are based off of the skies I see here in Nevada. I've traveled a few places around the world. I have seen sunsets and sunrises in other places of the world. There's something about Nevada skies. I absolutely love Nevada skies. I don't know if you've seen the meme online where like you're at an idyllic scenic location trying to take a picture at sunset and the sky's just all dull and dim, but then like you go grocery shopping and it's like the most beautiful sky you've ever seen. We have those on a regular basis here. And I just love that. I love going to the grocery store and then just looking up and it's like, oh my gosh, this is the most beautiful sky I've ever seen. I'm really excited for that sketchbook. I want to tell you guys like my whole idea for it, but I don't want to spoil it because that will spoil the video it's for. But I'm really excited about that video and it's going to involve like my audience. You guys can really get involved with that sketchbook. And I'm excited for that. Put in a lot of I like thought and prep into how I'm gonna do that. I have not been to the Appalachians, but I want to go to the Appalachian Mountains. Like almost any part of the trail, I do want to go hiking out there. It's on my list of things to do. Like kind of seeing Iceland is also on my list of things I want to do before I die. But I want to go on the Appalachia Trail. Not do the whole thing, but like maybe a few miles at camp just to kind of like get to know the forests out there a little bit. Because your forests out east in the eastern United States are way different than the forests I'm used to that are out here on the West Coast. That's kind of why I want to go camping out there, is because of those like weird stories. I've spent a couple nights in ghost towns in Nevada just because like maybe I'm trying to chase that one moment that happened to me at that train house to see if I could like create another like supernatural moment. But like those spooky kind of things, like I kind of want to go out and just spend a couple nights camping out in the Appalachian Mountains. I mean it makes sense though. Like I've had one moment where something happened to me that because I have a very analytical brain. Like I'm very imaginative, but like things also need to make sense for my imagination. Because like I will nitpick like Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, I should say. That last movie with the pterosaurs, I nitpicked that. And my husband was not happy with me. He's like, "Shut up and enjoy the movie." And I'm sitting there like, "The pterosaurs wouldn't be able to fly like that." Shut up and enjoy the movie. So like things got to make sense even if it is like fanciful. And so like that's why I want to go out and visit these places. And yeah, that one moment I can't explain it. I don't know what happened. My like adult brain wants to go, "You were just hallucinating." And like at the same time because I lived that moment, I'm like, "But what would I have been hallucinating on?" And then how that same thing with that like that wrench being on the ground and breaking the concrete, like how did that happen? because that was something other people noticed. So like, yeah, going out and seeing if I could do it again, like create some kind of moment. There's a ghost, or it's not a ghost town, but there's a small town that a lot of people only know because of one motel there, Tonopah, Nevada. It has the Clown Motel, and it's kind of famous. Like if you've been online, you may have seen the Clown Motel. Supposedly stuff happens there. I've spent a night next to the Clown Motel, actually between the Clown Motel and the cemetery. They're right next to each other. I spent a night there, and like, yeah, nothing happened. It was nothing eventful. I was even waiting for it. Yeah, the Clown Motel of Tonopah, Nevada. The owner of it literally just collects anything clown they can find, and there are thousands of clown dolls and figures and all over this motel. Like, I'm not scared of clowns or anything, but this has got a creep factor about it that's just like on a whole other level. Definitely looks like the setting of a serial killing, like, slasher flick. But Tonopah is very, like, almost hills have eyes kind of town. Like, I shouldn't say anything bad about it. I have a couple friends from Tonopah, and it's not that bad of a town. It's just a small, like, outdated town that kind of gets neglected and looked over. But there, it has a creep factor about it. And sometimes, like when you're traveling through the city and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, you'll see some interesting characters walking on the side of the road, and like looking at them through your rear view mirror as they're like, like got this weird like half mouth open smile and just like one tooth sticking out. I do. Okay, there's a lot of places in Canada I want to go, like just walk through because the landscape, the forests, just pictures are unlike anything I've ever seen. Um, Even Alaska, I want to like, I do want to go out there. I definitely would need to get into better shape to do that though. Like, that is something I would definitely need to be prepared for. I would actually do training and meet up with somebody to kind of make sure I don't do something stupid because those areas are so remote. But oh my goodness, those, that is another place on my bucket list is definitely camping up in the Canadian forests or even just Alaska if I could get up to one of them to do. And then Europe, I do like still want to travel through Europe as well. I have no idea what the camping scene is like out in Europe, but I do know it exists. Uh, we have brown bears out west too. Grizzlies. I've camped in California a few times, and there's grizzlies there. Black bears, especially black bears. Black bears aren't scary. Grizzlies, if you know how to hide your food and put it away um, well enough, like you pretty much don't have too much to worry about when it comes to grizzly bears. Just because, like, that's one of the animals that I've been kind of like needed to be aware of. Same thing with cougars. We have mountain lions here in Nevada and coyotes, but I'm not like, coyotes don't scare me unless I have my dogs with me. Then they do because my dogs are small and they'll be a dinner. Pumas scare me more than bears scare me, and I really don't like them because I've already been like, when it came to a mountain lion, I was with my dad in Pioche, Nevada, and we were being hunted, and that was something like that's really eerie when you know you're being hunted, especially when it like with pumas, they mark their territory and they try to like mark when they're hunting to keep other pumas out of their territory so that they can hunt in peace. And you'll start smelling their urine when like you're being hunted. And it was my dad, myself, and my brother, and I would have been 9 years old at the time when we were being hunted. And I do remember like that smell. It's a very distinct musk smell, and I could tell, like looking at the moment, I didn't realize it, but looking back, I could tell my dad was panicked, and he was trying to like not necessarily let it show because I was the oldest and I was 9 years old, and then my brother, he was 8, and we were being hunted. And my dad knew it wasn't him that what he needed to worry about because he had a 9-year-old and an 8-year-old with him. We were the ones being hunted, not him. Yeah, we ended up going like getting back to we couldn't go directly back to the motel because like Pioche is just a little mining town, but it's covered by mountains and old mines and everything. So like we had to go on a special trail because there are just shafts that you could fall down if you go off trail. So you have to stay on trail. And I remember we went on trail, but we couldn't go back because like we had gotten so far up and we never smelt any of the puma urine. But then when we started heading back, then we started smelling it. And that was when my dad knew something was gone. So instead of going right back to the motel, we had to continue down the trail the other way until we got to the highway. And then we'd walk the highway back to the motel. Norway is a place in Europe I wanna go camping. I blame Nerdy Forge for that one, or Nerd Forge. Martina, she made it look so beautiful. But yeah, so pumas I think are a little bit more scary than bears. But like every animal that you're in, like if you just learn a little bit about the behaviors, and you can find all of that stuff online, like what animals, what predators are in these areas. You can kind of learn about them and learn their tells because every animal has a tell for like their when they're hunting. So like that's one of the things that I do try to do. Like I like at least get a basic understanding of if this animal is hunting, what does it look like, and how do I tell if I'm the one being hunted? And how do you protect yourself from it? And pumas are the ones that are like harder because bears, they'll come to you only because of food. Like they'll smell your processed food, and that stuff is crack to them. So like they'll if you could keep that in a location where they can't get to it, typically like tied up and hanging down from a branch, like that's what they're gonna go after. So like they make themselves known, unless you're like unless you're camping when it's like mating season, and that's something I would never recommend. Don't go camping during mating season because the bears are super aggressive then. But there are things you can do to just kind of like protect yourself a little bit better. Is I tell my best friend who she's absolutely terrified of spiders, and I've been kind of helping her get over it. Like the more you learn about something, the less scarier it is. So she like every day, well, I shouldn't say every day, but like at least like once a week to every other week, she learns something new about spiders, and she'll share it with me. And she's like, "Dude, like this is what I learned this week. This is what I learned about spiders," and like she still doesn't like them. She's definitely not as terrified as she was with spiders, though. But she's been able to like more recently tell the difference between our venomous spiders. Like, so she knows like if it's a black widow, like I kind of have the same belief with black widows. It's like, sorry, I have little dogs and I have a child. Like my niece will sometimes come and see us. I won't risk that. Like, sorry, if you're in my space, you gotta die. But other spiders, like house spiders, wolf spiders, she's now starting to know the difference between them, and we just put them outside. Like, sorry, this is my space. and she stopped just killing all the spiders, and I thought that was kind of cool. Just from learning a little bit about spiders every so often, she's not nearly as scared of them as she was. Like that's my advice, I guess. Like if you're dealing with something you find scary, learn about it. It helps it not be so scary. Di! Hello, Di! I was wondering if this time would be good for any of my Aussie friends. I appreciate you stopping by and saying hi. I'll actually be going to bed here soon, and you're probably just waking up. Oh, nice. I plan on doing different times just to try to, like, help people catch my lives no matter where they are in the world. Okay, I'll give you that illustrated. Yeah, ticks. Um, yeah, I am not a fan of ticks at all. I know about ticks. I've learned about ticks. I'm not a fan of them. It is currently 10, almost 10:30 at night. So getting close to my bedtime. See, we have some ticks close to our area. They're a little bit more like up in the mountains from us. So I don't have to worry about them too bad, but I do need to stay cognizant of them, especially if I'm going hiking. But being in the desert, we don't really have to worry about like ticks or fleas. They don't live here. And I love that. We don't have to worry about ticks or fleas. Yes, we have daylight savings. We're going to be springing forward soon. Unfortunately, losing our hour. We have one state does not. Arizona, they don't have daylight savings time. And I wish Nevada, my state, would do the same thing. Can we drop our daylight savings? Can we follow our sister state? And I think Arizona is one of the only states that doesn't follow daylight savings because it's weird. Um, Arizona is technically a different time zone from me, but like they're supposed to be with Mountain Time, and I'm Pacific Standard Time. But during daylight savings, they're the same time as us, and then during the winter, they're the same time as Arizona. Or Arizona's the same time as Utah in the winter, but it's the same time zone as us in the summer because of daylight savings. Yeah, it is legal. States can choose to just not follow daylight savings time. And I wish Nevada would follow suit with that. I mean, they had a really good reason, which was like, from what I understood, it was because they didn't have farmland at the time, and daylight savings was a like made for farmers, and because they didn't have farms, they're just like, we're a desert state, we don't need to follow it. Oh, thank you, Aussie Crafter. I need to add in all the leaves to it. This is a memorial piece for a friend. I'm gonna end up painting her nephew into it. He passed away last year, He was really young too, 11 years old, just sudden health issue. And he was really big into Pokemon. She knows I can do my Pokemon paintings, and so she wanted a Pokemon painting that I would paint him into. So I'm gonna have his favorite Pokemon, and he's gonna be right here. And it's just kind of like this heaven-like setting. So like she can look at it and smile and feel like he has his own little slice of heaven within this painting. Yeah, I'm gonna probably talk about it more because she kind of wants me to. Like she's encouraged me to talk about like who Kenny was and what took him because she wants people to know. But it was basically a sudden asthma attack, and he had medication that he was on, and it just unfortunately his body was not able to fight off what happened. So she wants people to be aware of it because it was so sudden. And I think it's like more she was kind of blaming herself, or and her sister was kind of blaming herself over that because they just wanted to be able to try to like do anything and everything to save him. It's just one of those really crappy situations. There wasn't anything that anybody could do. He was on medication. He was going to the doctor for it. They were aware. It was just suddenly became a lot worse out of nowhere. But he was a very active kid, and she's been sharing all sorts of pictures with me about him, and he definitely left a very loving mark on his family. And that's why I want to make sure this is something really special for them. Gonna be putting all sorts of little flowers in here, like her favorites with his favorite. I think they're his favorite colors, purple and orange. So I'm gonna be putting like stargazer lilies in here, with some little white flowers, possibly like dandelions and stuff, just to kind of like make it look like if I was a kid, I would totally want to play in this place. This would be like where I would want to play tag. This is where I would want to play with my friends and just kind of have fun in this field. So that's definitely like the vibe I'm trying to go for with this. And then bring in the colors of the trees. I did that with I'll grab that really quick so I can show you. I did that with my dog's tribute painting. This is Dexter's painting. It's a big painting, so I'm gonna have to like go in sections. But there's Dexter, and I actually mixed his ashes into the paint, and so he lives here in the painting. And when I would go hiking with him, he would just stare up at the sky, like admiring its beauty. So that's what I tried to capture with his pose right there, and just place him in this painting because I know he would really love to be in this painting. And since he kind of is in this painting, like this is his forever home. And that's what I'm trying to do with Kenny's painting too. It's just kind of like what would be a perfect forever home. I still need to do another painting for my other dog, Rascal, too. That one's going to be coming up. But I love the way the sky and everything came out with. This is based off of a place I took him camping called Golden Eagle. And it's up like between Nevada and California. One of my favorite places I took him. It's kind of, I guess, using my empathy in my art. I'm a very empathetic person. And I try to translate that over into my art. Dexter was a really good dog. He was one of a kind. And if you guys watch The Walking Dead, um, I his sister was adopted by an extra in The Walking Dead, and I actually met her in a Facebook group, and we found out that we had adopted our dog's siblings. I got Dexter, she got Betty. They looked identical, and it was just so funny looking at our paperwork. Like, oh my gosh, they're siblings, and we—that's how we met, was just because our dogs looked the same, and I got to see how Betty was doing. We unfortunately never got a chance to bring Dexter and Betty back together. She ended up moving to Kentucky, but like before we actually found each other. But it was cool knowing like what happened with Dexter's sister and that she had a really good life. And then you know Megan, who's in The Walking Dead, got to find out what happened with Betty's brother Dexter, and they both had really good lives. Betty got to travel all over the country. Was a very special dog for her as well, just like Dexter was for me. They're very unique. Both of the, like from what she explained, Betty also kind of admired the beauty in the world. And it's just not something I really see in dogs. Like Dexter, when we would go on hikes and like the sun was setting, he would just kind of like sit down and just look up at the sky. And a couple times, like my mom one time when she was watching him do that, she's like, "How is he like?" It's like he's admiring the sky, like he's watching the sunset, but isn't he colorblind? Like he can still see some color, and he can still think it's pretty. But like it's just one of those things. Like, can a dog think something is pretty? And Dexter, it really seemed like he could find things pretty, and he would just stare at them. He was a weird dog, but I absolutely loved him. Yes, she was actually in quite a few as the zombies. She's one of the walkers. Um, and then she was also in um, Thor Ragnarok. She was one of the extras, actually right next to Chris Hemsworth, when they were on Asgard. uh, Maybe like one day I'll show the scene that she's in, because I thought that was really cool. Like she's front and center, like the camera's facing him and she's just right next to him, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Megan. And then of course, because like now that the movie had come out, she was of course sharing pictures of it, and I thought that was really cool. Like I had recognized that she was in the movie before like she was telling everybody, just because she was front and center. Apparently she enjoyed working with him, so that's good. I was When I was living in Vegas, I was an extra in a couple movies. I have yet to find myself in them, but apparently well, not apparently. I mean, I did film it for Miss Congeniality 2 when they were running through Treasure Island, the boat, like the pirate ship part. I should be in that scene somewhere. I've yet to find me. I got a paycheck for it, so like $250 at the time. Also, on that movie set, I had learned that it is illegal to film slot machines in the state of Nevada. And so when they do film movies like that in Las Vegas, they have to remove all of the real slot machines and they bring in fake ones. And so like I was at a fake slot machine in a real casino in Las Vegas. I always thought that was really weird how all of the slot machines are fake. But I did get to meet Sandra Bullock because of it, and I love Sandra Bullock. She was such a doll. She talked with everybody. She was very friendly, making sure everybody was comfortable and just having a good time on the movie set. She was probably one of the best people I have ever met who actually is like is an A-list celebrity. I don't know if I want to talk about my worst, but there are a couple really like that I didn't really like that I have met. Yeah, it is really interesting. That blew my mind though, that they had to bring in fake slot machines, and I was always like, then why are you guys even filming in Las Vegas? If you can't even use the stuff in Las Vegas for a film, why are you filming in Las Vegas? I mean, I knew for like for the pirate ship at the TI, of course, like it's just easier to film that there, but like when you're running through the casinos, if you're already in like the studio in Hollywood, why are you coming out to Las Vegas for that part? And then the other movie that I was in was Ocean's 13. That was another one where like I was just an extra, and I don't even think my part made it into the movie. I don't remember exactly what was going on in it, but like I remember like going to the movie and watching it and like just not recognizing that scene even happening. But it was another one. I got a paycheck for it. Just not a very big one. It was like $250 max you would get. No speaking. You're not allowed to make eye contact with any of the movie stars unless they talk to you first. Don't look at the camera. Don't be the reason the director has to say cut. You will be thrown out and you won't get paid. Okay, so this may not surprise some of you, but like Brad Pitt, I really I had a crush on Brad Pitt before I met him in person. He's very stuck up from what I saw. Could have been a bad day. Could have just like everything could have been going on. Like he could have already had a problem with the person he was yelling at. But I saw him yelling at somebody. I really didn't like the way he was coming across. It was very degrading, like very, very entitled. Like he knew who he was, and he will be respected no matter what. And you better not he better not like even perceive any kind of disrespect from you, because like he will just go off on you. That was the aura I was getting from him. Did not like Brad Pitt. That was a sad day because I had like the biggest crush on Brad Pitt, and then when I met him, I was like, "Oh, you're kind of a jerk." George Clooney was pretty cool. He was joking around with us. He's very clever. I'll give him that. Like, he's a very clever guy. He knows how to play off of people. So, like, I did like George Clooney a lot. Yeah, like that really surprised me about Brad Pitt because I knew he had pretty humble beginnings. And I like thought he would have remembered that kind of stuff, but nope. And then the other one that really like broke my heart was Britney Spears. I worked at the Aladdin. Now it's called Planet Hollywood, but at the time it was the Aladdin. And they have a mall that wraps around the casino that's a mile long. And just like, you know, a lot of Eastern countries, they had pedicabs that would go through the mall. So I did that. I had a bike I would hook up like a cart to, and I would pull people around the mall and they could do their shopping. So like we did shopping tours like that, and we had like a little trunk space that they could put all of their bags into. And I ended up getting Britney Spears one day, and oh my gosh, like it was a $4 ride. I was like, that was just kind of like the thing. Like we had to, like, if we were off the floor, we weren't making money. And I got Britney Spears, and she took me off of the floor for like 45 minutes, and it was a $4 freaking bike ride, and she threw a hissy fit about paying the $4. And I'm like, I just missed out on a whole bunch of money because I was pulling you around the mall. You can pay $4, like you're rich. I know you can, like your manager, somebody's gonna pay me for my time, because I really would not have taken the ride had I known I wasn't gonna get any kind of money for that. And like she wasn't gonna pay, and I missed out on all that money. And I was just like, because I would make like $20 to $50 every 15 minutes, and she took me off of the off of my route for 45 minutes to an hour. And so like that was like $100 I just lost, and she didn't even want to pay me the $4. Yeah, granted though, this was at the time when she was starting, like I think this was a couple months before she shaved her head. So like I know at that moment in her life now, like I can look back and recognize like yeah, she definitely was going through a lot of stuff. In that moment, I was more upset that like I wasn't getting paid. But like she probably thought like her management team was supposed to be taking care of it or this was something provided by the hotel. I kind of get it, but she was very snobby about it. Justin Timberlake was another one who expected just everything free whenever he came in. None of the pedicabbers liked dealing with Justin Timberlake at all. Just another one, did not tip, was very just like everything needed to be provided to him for free. Again, like looking back, I know like he was also being misused by the industry. So like I could get what was going on at the time for him, but also in the moment it was just like we would find out Justin Timberlake's coming, and nobody wanted to take his petty gap. We would always give it to the newest person. Like no, we just don't want to deal with him. But Sandra Bullock was still my favorite. Like Drew Barrymore was also kind of cool. She had come by and she chit chatted with us for a little bit. She was another one that I was just like, oh, you're kind of cool. Yeah. It's just, yeah, they're just so used to not paying for anything. It's just one of those things. Um, like, they it does make them go out get out of touch a little bit because their management teams typically take care of everything, but then when they come up into a situation where their management team hasn't, they just expect it for free because that's what they've been getting. Yeah, that's true, Penji. Who else have I met? Um, because like yeah, I lived in Vegas and there was lots of people. Oh, I did not like the Kardashians or anybody in their circle at all. That was another group we dreaded. And this was like before they were super famous, but they already like they had money and they were well known when they would come into Vegas. That was just another one. Like um one of my friends actually worked at Tao, one of the nightclubs that they would go to when the Kardashians had come in, and I think they were filming like early on in the show, or it was for something else before the show, like Meet the Card or like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, something around then. I don't know who was dating the guy Scott, but I think Scott was like part of their inner circle. Anyways, one of the girls had gotten really pissed off at one of the waiters, and because they were really pissed off at this waiter, and I think it was just because like he couldn't bring out all of their drinks at once. He had to make two trips, and they were upset because he didn't have like he didn't get another waiter to come out and help him bring all the drinks out at once. So it was something really dumb like that too. He had to make two trips that annoyed them because I guess one of them didn't get their drink the same time as everybody else. And like Scott ended up going like into his face, shoved him down onto the ground, like screaming at him. He like ended up getting off the floor, was sitting in the manager's office for a while, just like to try to stay away from the situation. And then like I guess somebody had told Scott like, oh, you know, you assaulted him, that could be a lawsuit. And so then he ended up asking the manager for this guy to come back out from the manager's office. So the waiter ended up coming back out, and like Scott told him like you just need to hush your mouth about this. Grow up, get a pair, and literally shoved a $100 bill in his mouth and walked away. And so like that was another group. Like nope, I just did absolutely did everything I could to avoid being in any of the areas with the Kardashians. I think that was probably one of the like the worst stories I had heard from the Kardashians or like from any of the celebrities was the Kardashians. That was just the one group you did not want anything to do with when you heard that they were coming in, and everybody avoided them. Yeah, that was just like Wow, really? That's he's a waiter. It's not like it's not like he has any of the privilege that you guys have, and you're treating him like this, and I just like went on and acted like the night was like done with, and of course because they had money, the manager was just like telling the waiter like you just drop it, just let it go. I'll send you home with pay if you would like, but like you just need to drop it. And he refused to sign an NDA, but he never did anything with it. Like I mean that was assault. He absolutely could have gotten them for assault, but he refused to sign the NDA, and he just kind of like told our like the little friend group. Yeah, so they're like those were the celebrities like I really didn't like. But Brad Pitt was one like personal experience that I saw was just like that one was kind of like that was when I learned never meet your idols because like I Fight Club came out when I was in high school. It's been so long since I've seen Fight Club, but like that movie, that was what made me get like the super crush on Brad Pitt. And then like I found out like I got picked to be an extra in Ocean's 13 and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to get to see him." And then like I saw him and I was just like, "You're not anything like I expected." When I like Vegas taught me just how out of touch rich people are. Yeah. That would be a fun series. I kind of want to. I'm having one of those moments where, like, do I want to just do the white? I don't feel like I should just do white. I should probably start with blue for shadowing and then highlight with white for the little flowers. I could do sips and paint. That would be fun. Like, I do have lots of stories. I had some interesting jobs. Vegas has got all sorts of different like all sorts of different jobs that you could do out there, and you met so many interesting people. I've heard I've heard good things about PewDiePie, but I've also heard bad things about PewDiePie. I have heard more good things about people who have met him like personally than I have bad, but a lot of people have strong feelings about PewDiePie. I do try to like I do try to get like my best to give people the benefit of the doubt, let them show me what kind of person they are. But that's kind of cool that you met him. That had to have been a long time ago because I don't think he's been in the U.S. for a while. I do think like we need to utilize lives more in our community. I think we could have a lot of fun with them. I just know it's also like logistics, working out the logistics of it and making sure like you're going to be available at that specific time no matter what. That's why I try to keep like my announcement to the day before, just so like if anything's gonna change or happen, like I didn't announce a live. But I kind of like the way lives work on YouTube better than TikTok or TikTok. Well, yeah, and TikTok. I got bombarded by I don't know if they were bots or just trolls, but like TikTok is a wild spot, but Twitch is what I meant. I did meet a couple good people on TikTok lives. But there's also like that battle aspect that I just don't understand. I'm like, I'm old. Keep things simple, please. I'm very happy to see that. And I will keep doing lives at different times. I do think like uh, I need to figure out a better time for Europe. I'm thinking like 8 a.m. might be good, but I'm still working out that one. But this time seems to be really good. I'm normally painting at night anyways, and I like Dye made an appearance. That was really cool. If you're still here, Dye, like yeah, I do think it's really cool that you were able to hop in because I wanted to try to like make a time where it could work for some of my Australian audience members. So you popping in like shows me like this was a pretty decent time. Yeah, exactly. Get a little bit of everyone. The one I like the biggest hurdle is I have a decent sized audience in India as well, and that's the time that like I'm trying to figure out. And I only know like it's weird looking at the stats of my videos. Like I could see like oh audience I like my audience in India. It's such a big part of my channel. I don't get a lot of interaction though with my audience members in India who watch me. There's only a couple that I've actually like had any kind of like chit chatting with, and their schedules are all over the place. So like I have an idea. It's just like I need to figure out what would work best. And I'm thinking like it would have to be super early in the morning for me, like maybe 4 a.m., 3 or 4 a.m. So that's one like I know I'm gonna really struggle with to ever try and do a live for. That's cool. Yes, I do agree with that one. That your commenters are your core audience. In a way, I would say like the way that I like try to look at the stats, I would say like 10% of your core audience will never engage with you. And I've kind of learned that from Instagram. Because I did take like a break from Instagram and I ended up getting some people like talking to me, messaging me like, oh, please don't quit your Instagram. Like, I love looking at your stuff. Never liked any of my stuff, but they had been following me for like a couple of years. So, like, they were there in the beginning, but they just never, like, I don't know, like, just liking stuff wasn't their thing. Like, they just liked looking through it and they just didn't like stuff. But they had opened up, like, when I was like, I'm going to be stepping away from Instagram, just like letting you all know that I'm okay and I'll see you guys soon. Because it was just like mental break. I took like a couple months off of Instagram. And they're just like, don't quit, don't quit. I had to clarify, I'm not quitting. And I'm like, you guys, like, I didn't even know you guys like my stuff. You never comment or like or anything. And there was a decent amount of that. So I will say, like, don't don't always like bank on your core audience only being the ones that commented. There's gonna be a portion of your audience that will watch everything you do, and they will never like or comment on any of your videos. But like they watch everything. And I know they're there because I was kind of like that for a minute myself because I would just watch YouTube in the background on so much of stuff that I was doing, never liked or commented on it on any of the stuff, but I was always watching it. So they're there. I was one of those people. Yeah, that was the right call. I'm glad I went with the light blue because now I can add in like a highlight. And against the orange in the skies, it's looking white. Hey, at least I recognize that you're there. I do try to think about that. I have gotten better about it though since I started creating videos. Like, I definitely comment a lot more than I used to, and like that's one thing I always try to do. Like, no matter what video, if I watched it and I enjoyed it, give it a like. I do now. I do now. And that's okay. Like, we're all gonna kind of engage in our own ways and what feels comfortable for us. And since I've been in that situation where like I didn't like or comment, I kind of get it. It's so easy to just kind of like get caught up in your own little thing and not even think about like, oh, this like is gonna mean something important to the creator. I better make sure I like their video. Okay, Illustrated. I really enjoyed chatting with you as well. I am very happy you were able to make it. Definitely going to be choosing this time again in the future for another live. But do get some sleep. 1 a.m. It's kind of late. Yeah. I do feel like YouTube though has like the most stable audience. I mean, it's one of the oldest, but it's stable, and that's kind of what I like about it. TikTok is so all over the place. You'll get like it's weird because you'll get bursts of followers, but like I've it's happened to me once, but it's happened to people I talked to a couple times, and unfortunately, I lost a big chunk of the burst of followers because they, I guess, were bots. Like TikTok had done a bot sweep, and then I lost a whole bunch of followers during the bot sweep. So I was like, oh, well, that sucks. Got all these followers for them to be bots, but like you'll get like these bursts, and you'll have one video that just like takes off, and you'll get this burst, and they'll like your new audience members will comment on every all your videos, they'll watch your backlog, and then they just fall off, and that's it. You kind of got to like discount that they're there just because of the way that like TikTok works. It's such a I feel weird saying it, but it's such a transient um like audience. They're both there all the time and then not there. It's a very weird audience. I still like have not quite figured it out. My best site has been YouTube. I've gotten the best luck with YouTube. Yeah, I'm with you, Ozzy. I just post my shorts on there. I interact with some other artists. There's a couple artists I have found on there that I'm like, you are ridiculously talented. You should start a YouTube. And they're like, no, I don't like YouTube. And I'm like, okay, well, fair enough. But if you ever start a YouTube, like, I will help you out with that because your art is on another level. But it is a whole different beast. And then like Instagram is trying to like be in the middle between like YouTube and TikTok, and I don't like how much it's like trying to be TikTok, but also trying to be like YouTube. That's kind of what I do. Twice a week, I make shorts. I post them to Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I try to like be more engaged with my YouTube. Uh, I do kind of want to go live a couple more times on TikTok, but I already had one weird experience. I'm definitely like, do I want to deal with like, because like the thing with that is like they have, what did they call it? It was almost like a biker gang, but on TikTok, and it was just like a group of people going around to lives and just like blowing up the chat so much with trolls that it would get the person who was live's account like TikTok would step in and cancel the live, and then whoever was live during that time, like they wouldn't be able to go live for like 48 hours until an investigation, which was just their AI going through everything. But like they would just say all of the words that would get the TikTok banned, and like I don't like that, and I've seen it happen a few times, and it like kind of happened to me once, but I wasn't big enough that I wasn't like getting paid yet, so like they ended up moving on. Also, I was like really sucked into what I was painting, so like I had only like realized what they had done after the fact, and then they had already left my chat. Patreon is something I want to start, but trying to figure out what kind of content I would add to that. Have a good night, Madame. If it's nighttime for you, that is. You may have told me what time it was, and I'm totally spacing it, but I hope you enjoy whatever you are about to do. Yeah, it's one of those that you really need to know somebody who's already got a lot of followers to really be picked up by the algorithm. It seems like it definitely favors the numbers, and if you're not interacting with somebody who has the numbers, it's not really going to pick you up too well, unless it's like some crazy like news thing. Oh, I don't know. Did I just I I saw you saying good day, so I assumed uh, I assumed that Madame MM Eos was leaving, so I was saying goodbye. If you're staying, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Oh, I don't know. Um, I don't know if it means goodbye or not. Now I feel silly. Hey, I started the flowers. I just realized, like, I've been talking about wanting to start the flowers. I finally started some of the flowers. It just dawned on me that that's what I was doing. I'm silly. I get so sucked into the conversation and chatting with you guys. I totally like. I started the flowers. I have been saying I was going to start the flowers like the last three lives, and I finally did it. All right, Penji. Your soaps. Is that like part of your training? Your continued education? But anyways, you don't need to answer because I know you're gonna be like going to bed. Because you're 2 hours ahead of me, right? So it's 1 a.m. for you. I have that now. I will not have that in the future. My brain's gonna end up dumping that piece of knowledge like, you're not gonna ever use this again. Oh, thank you, Di. I appreciate that. I will remember that. It's like aloha. Used for both hello and goodbye. I just realized it's not showing up too well. But like, look, there's the little flowers that got started, but they're like baby's breath, so they're gonna be like super tiny. The star lilies, they're the stargazer lilies. Those are gonna be, because I definitely want to make them look like stargazers. Those are gonna have a little bit of detail. I have a second phone off to the side. So, so when I'm checking, like when I'm getting new paint, I can see the chat. Just so like if you ever go live, you might be able to like totally steal that idea to help you out. Ah, okay. We had uh what is it called? When I worked with my clients, we had daily reports that we would have to do. Like, oh my goodness, what were they called? Our our notes. Everybody just called them our notes, but they had a specific name. But we would have to write down like what the clients ate, if we exercised, what the exercise was, anything that happened with their doctor's appointments, if they got on new medications, if we had any outbursts, or if there was any like issues while we were out in public. Everything had to be documented. And we had to write all of our notes as if like they were going to be most definitely used in court, because all of our notes could be used in court if it ever came to it. So we had to make sure they're clear, concise, and like as factual as possible. We didn't call them DAPs, but possibly very similar. Ours went to SRC, which is the Sierra Regional Center for any kind of individual that was on disability or needed any kind of life assistance. Like they were in that system, and that's the Nevada state system. But like I had to like, this is how many miles or kilometers we walked today, and I would do meal prep, and so like write down the meals that I had prepped, how many days they were supposed to last, the calorie count of them, and then of course like any of the fun things that they did, like if we went to the movies, how they did at the movies, if we had any issues like with outbursts or somebody not making it to the restroom was the biggest one. So many of our clients just wanted to sit in the movie, not leave it, and then they would have an accident. That was probably the most common, most common thing that we had was at the movies. I got it though, cause like they wanted to watch the movie, they didn't want to leave. I just saw what time it was. I think I'm gonna finish up these white flowers, and then I am going to go start ending my life because I still gotta like take my dogs out there last time, but I'm gonna finish this patch, and then I'll probably end my life for the night. I think 3 hours is a good length. Definitely going to be doing another one on a Friday night. I just don't know when yet. Not gonna be able to do it next week, but I guess it's Saturday morning for you, Die, but Friday night for me. Oh, I got this one right down here. I will definitely remember that. I appreciate that, Die. Yep, and Penji, that's neurodivergent adults. I will give them that. They are um, very assured with the kind of person that they are. So many of the adults acted the exact same way they did as kids, talking with their families all the time, and that was a big one. It's just like they used to do the same thing when they were in elementary school, and they just still do it. Can we get them to stop? Like the behavior, the parents would always be like, "Can you get them to stop this behavior?" And like I'd have to explain to them like, I can't make them stop. We can work on it, but I just need to make sure your expectation is that like I'm not going to make them stop. I can't. Like, they still have free will. They're allowed. They're allowed their whatever ticks they may have. They are allowed to have those. They're allowed to stim. I can't tell them they can't do something. Some parents understood. There were a couple that always just like did not understand. Like, well, no, like they're here so that you can make them better. There's nothing to make better. This is who they are. I can work with them and we can work on behaviors and help them understand why it would be better to act a certain way, but I can't make them do anything. I think that was like our the biggest misconception with the kind of facility I worked in. With people were just like, well, you can make them do stuff, like you can make them better. This is what we want to change about them. Like they are people. I can't change anything about them. We can work on behaviors. I could try my best to help them understand why certain behaviors aren't acceptable. But like a lot of the things that the parents wanted us to change is like that's just who they are. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you see a lot of that, Die, just from what you've shared. Like, I bet you can relate to that big time. Just a lot of parents just, I know they want the best for their children, especially if they have special needs, but like some things you can't change about people. It's who they are. Yep, exactly. Because all you're gonna do is you're gonna upset them. It's gonna make them feel unloved, unwanted. And getting parents to understand that was like that was always the most frustrating thing. Like, Who was it? Oh, one of my clients was really big into movies. If he did not have movies, he would prowl the streets and then he would spend his money on women of the night. And like that was a behavior we like I could not make him stop that, but his mom was like, "You need to make him stop. He can't be doing that." I can't make him stop that. I can only help him understand like this isn't a good idea and things that he could do instead of it, which were movies. But at the same time, like he had to get like a new movie like once a month, and that would keep him entertained so that he would stay off the street late at night. But his mom was like, he has too many movies. We're not buying him any more movies. It's like, you got to work with him. Like, this is definitely a compromise. You don't want him doing this thing where he's going out onto the street super late at night, but you're not giving him an alternative. And because the alternative you're saying is too much. Like, it's got to be one or the other. It's a give or take here. We can work with something, but if he's not stimulated, he's gonna just go out and wander, and that's when he knows what he can do with his money. Yeah, you can't fix it. There's nothing wrong with them to fix. This is who they are. It's like the one thing I wish I could just make all of the parents understand. So, like, I will say a lot of the parents did understand, like, because I dealt with adults, not children. So, like, they are who they are and they've been that way for a while. So a lot of the parents understood, but like that one client that would go out on the street for the ladies of the night, he was in his 50s and his mom was like, you need to fix him. Like there's no fixing him. It's we got to work with his behaviors and we got to find alternatives. So it's for him just because of what he liked. It's movies, or he's gonna go out into the night and he's gonna spend his money. Yeah, I agree, Di. The it is very beneficial because you're kind of there's you're learning more about different individuals' needs and your bias is removed. Like I so many people like forget that they have a bias and it even comes with their kids like you have this expectation over kids behavior but you're going to be more lenient for somebody else's kid and it does help you understand like things that will work and you can use potentially with your own child if your child is receptive to it. Hey Nookling, you did end up making the tail end of it. I'm going to be finishing up these white flowers and I'm almost done. But look at that. I said you might catch the tail end. I also think though I did really well at that job because I am also neurodivergent. So like there's a lot of things like I absolutely understood like with textures. That was another one people like don't understand. Textures are issues. They can be overstimulating. I understand that. I have textile issues. So I also unfortunately know how to mask very well. So like there's also different tips and tricks I had with that. Like when you're in situations, sometimes like you almost feel like it's a defense safety thing where you have to mask aspects about who you are just to be okay in certain situations. So like there were tips and tricks I used to be able to give my clients. I do kind of miss that job. Don't necessarily miss my boss, but I do miss the job. I occasionally do see my clients though out in the wild, and it's always super nice. It's also just really hard right now because so much funding has been cut for that kind of stuff. So like none of the facilities are hiring right now. You're good people, Penji. I will let Penji answer that one. I don't want to. I do speak with Penji in real life, but I don't want to speak for Penji. Although you did post it on uh on that thread. That was funny. I'm an art supply. Did you pop back out, Penji? I think Penji may have. Welcome back, Travis. Ah, there we go. I got those white flowers added. I'm happy. I'm actually really excited about Penji's. After I finish this commission, Penji's is the next one. Penji got a commission from me that I'm really excited to work on. Been planning that out. I still got to add the lilies. So this area is going to be lilies. I am going to add in some clover and dandelions. You wouldn't really see them in the background, so I can just add them in here just to kind of like this little like flat area right here. I could add in some texture. And then I could get started on the leaves. And then the only thing left after that will be to add in Kenny and his Pokemon. I'm really happy with the way this is coming out. They're going to be purple and orange, his favorite colors, and they're going to be stargazer lilies. So I am going to be altering the real lily colors, but I think, going with his favorite colors, I have little hints to the purple and the orange in the background. They're like little, just tiny dots. But I got the purple and the orange back there, so I'm going to kind of do the same thing to bring it all forward. Just leave the shrubs the way they are. I like them. I don't need to do anything else to them. I might add in a little bit of yellow, but I appreciate that. This has been a long painting, but I like where it's at. I can see the finish line now, so I know I'm in the home stretch. And since you guys are here, I will finish off the rest of my live with, because some of you haven't seen this, a sneak peek at my next video. This is actually going to be my sketchbook. And it's all plants based off of the deserts around my area that I grew up. So like bristlecone pines right there, the twisted looking gnarled tree. I love them so much. And then these are called Joshua trees. They are in the deserts between Las Vegas and LA. And then, oh my gosh, I just had the name. Ocotillos. They're called ocotillos. I want to call them by their real name because if I say snake plant like I used to call them when I was a kid, everybody would be like, those aren't snake plants. That's a different plant. So ocotillos, Joshua trees, and bristlecones. Goodness, it's a little late for me. I kind of want to add in a couple others. There's pinyon pines, which are very big here in Nevada, all the way into Colorado. Mormon tea is another plant. It'll add in some green. My whole theme for this one is kind of like, I want it to have the colors of a rainbow and kind of look like it could be rainbow themed, but it also like, I could say, well, no, it's not really rainbow themed, but like I want all the colors of the rainbow represented, and I feel like I'm on track. I just have to add the red flowers to the ocotillos. So all those whites. Plants are amazing. I treat them like animals in my paintings. I like each plant, I spend a little bit of time with it, trying to like think about this tree. Like I was thinking about like how would the wind have flown through it, and like where would it be like really going towards, because it's going to be going up towards the sun. So like that's the way I treat my plants whenever I'm doing landscapes, and I really like the way that it comes out with that. And there are so many cool plants around the world. So like, yes, I will encourage, like, if you want to learn about plants, it will make you a better artist. Learn about plants, learn about animals, because it adds just a little bit of life to each of your artworks. You have a bunch of different plants. Like you got in Ohio, you see, you got, I think, multiple types of oak. You also have birch trees, don't you? Like, don't you have a different? You have a different type of birch than the ones that are out here near me. You also got a lot of wetland plants. Yeah, tons of trees. So we have a lot of pine trees out here. You get a lot of more of the the other trees. We have pine trees, the evergreens, and you got the other ones, the ones that actually change colors and look all pretty in the fall. The oaks. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one being finished. The white trees, are you talking about the Bradford pear trees? Because I hate those. We have those too. I hate the Bradford pear trees. Yeah, you guys got the fall vibes. So, like, you do have the plants out there, and you have some knowledge. You could just branch out from there. Like, you can learn about the different types of oak trees. Because we have an oak tree in the mountains near me. They are just a lot bigger than the oak trees that you're used to. So, like, it's a different kind of oak tree. And you can, like, pick a country and, like, I want to learn about the plant life in that area. That's kind of what I did. Yeah, branch out. There you go. Branch out. uh, all right. appreciate everybody joining in. I need to get my dogs taken out so they could go use the restroom before they go to bed. I got a lot done tonight. I appreciate everybody for joining in. I'm kind of happy with where I'm at for the night. I got further than I was expecting to get. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining. I hope you guys had fun. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. If you can join in, I will give like a day or two notice before my lives, and I am going to be doing different hours. You have a good day, Di, and Nookling and Travis. I hope you guys all have a wonderful night or day, because I know Nookling, your day's just getting started. So, yeah, be safe out there. Don't get lost. Don't get stolen. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye, you beautiful people.